Hi, friends. My name is Antonio Lanis, and I want to talk about something that I've been documenting in 2026 in my journey of writing and illustrating my first children's picture book called Clarita Migrates North, which is the book that you see here, which is my first children's picture book. And in my last video, I talked about how I was able to use my degree in a way that I never really thought I was going to, directly to writing and illustrating a book after majoring in Spanish, and talked about the journey of being in an environment that did not appreciate or really support, meaning encouraged me to pursue this major that really discouraged me, but I continued to study and declare my Spanish major. And I don't really talk about my college days as much because it's been a few years since I graduated, but I never really expected that writing a children's picture book would open a lot of conversations that have had very critical roles and impacts in my development as a person and now as a writer and illustrator. So I want to talk about one specific conversation. And for those of us who have migrated, for those of us who have lived in immigrant households, for those of us who have had to navigate multiple cultures, multiple environments, multiple languages, will understand, such as myself. When I declared my major in Spanish when I was in college, I remember it was sophomore year. We all had a deadline. I remember it because it was a February. And February of that year, in my class, we all had to have a major declared. And until then, I had taken many classes, but nothing was really sticking. And I decided to take Spanish just because, I thought it would be a nice addition to exploring. And that's what college is about, right? It's about exploring our identities and our likes and dislikes. So that's one thing that I decided to take on, and I declared it very fast because I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. And one thing that I don't really talk about as much because I really haven't had you know, the need to talk about this much. But from an immigrant household, there was really no pushback. There was no, what are you going to do with that? I feel very supported. I feel very encouraged from my parents, who this book is really about their migration story, and wanted to honor them. So this is Clarita. Clarita that you see here is a young girl who moved from Mexico to the United States. And over the years, we have, of course, grown and developed in this beautiful country. And one thing that I really think a lot about is how I really never had a conversation with my mother until there was the book launch. And one phrase that really has stuck with me since that month was, she told me, "I now know why you decided to study Spanish." And when she told me that, it was very, it wasn't heartbreaking. It was more like validating and very much being seen by such a person that I respect and admire and love a lot. But to see and hear that the work that I was doing back then meant so much in a way that now she saw a connection between what I was able to create after my education felt the world to me. Because even though there was no pushback or no discouragement from them, there was really this lack of understanding of, why are you majoring in that? I don't really understand you, but I will support you. And I don't know if this is something that more immigrant kids like me or adults now may relate to, but there was always this encouragement. even though they didn't know what was going on, even they didn't know what FOBSA was or the college application essays and all the rigor that took and all the sacrifice that it took for me to graduate and to succeed academically, they supported me. But there was really no understanding. But for me, after so many years, to finally present this book, and this book is really about families. It's about my familia, about all of our families, our communities and their families. There was a time that just felt full closure and just I don't really think it was really an open thing to talk about anymore because again, I feel very supported by them. I feel supported and I didn't know that I needed to have that comment to heal a part of me that I guess was still wounded and just unseen and misunderstood or not understood. And I just felt very, very good to hear those words coming from her. And wanted to share that this book, after so many months, continues to have many conversations and many iterations. The amounts of time that we have discussed the book and the themes and the migration story and where we come from and our migration story and what it means to be a writer, what it means to be an illustrator. It just means the world that they see me, that even though they don't understand what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis or the things that I'm creating, I didn't know that was still something that I needed to talk to them about until they saw a product like this book. They understood what it was that I do every day. And again, I don't do this or say this to say that I needed to be seen or validated by them, but there's something still that feels good to feel recognized. That even though after so many years, they really understand the beauty of the work, and regardless of the work, of just the person, I think there was magic in them seeing the connection. My parents seeing the connection, and again, it's really it has been a project that opens and has opened many conversations and many things that were still unsaid and things that I can continue sharing with all of you. So let me know if you're an immigrant Latino, Latina adult that may relate to this. You don't have to have majored in Spanish at all. I'm curious to hear your story, whether when you were growing up, you just didn't feel understood about what you decided to pursue in college, and whether there has been something that has allowed you to open up or to understand that other people see you as well. So again, thank you so much for the time and opportunity to be with all of you here. My name is Antonio Lanis, and I am documenting my journey as a Mexican first-time self-published children picture book author and illustrator. So wanted to say again, Happy New Year to all of you, and wish you all amazing, amazing things this year.